bacon.
Nice.
And a flat white and orange
Is Eggs
juice.
Royale is that like the one
Salmon.
with like
Salmon.
hollandaise? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Eggs Benedict, but salmon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny enough, Tilly had that. She had the salmon Eggs Royale with the hollandaise.
Let's
And stuff.
go.
I'm not a big fan of that. Like, I don't know. It's fine, but yeah.
You would say that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but what did you go for?
I like the hollandaise. I just went for a big fat breakfast.
Cock on.
Yeah, I did order the cock.
Egg on cock.
They were out.
Yeah, I bet you did.
The cock royale, yeah.
Oh, Luna, no, stop. I've just started the podcast. Go away. Yeah, no, I'm just getting a big fat breakfast. Yeah, it was enormous. It's 2 toast, 2 egg, 2 sausage, 3 bacon, 2 hash browns, beans.
Big breakfast for a big boy.
It was enormous.
I had half a Weetabix.
Oh, that's depressing.
As in half of one.
Yeah.
Time's really that bad.
Have you heard of butter?
You need me to wire you over some money. I can help you out.
Have you heard of butter on Weetabix?
No, I haven't.
People butter it and just eat it raw.
Oh.
Yo, like a Rivita, like a.
Yes.
I guess that's better than buttering it and having it with milk.
Yeah, that would be weird, wouldn't it?
That would be ultra weird.
Double dairy, nah.
Yeah.
Not about that life.
Yeah, I find double dairy weird as well. I've got like a real hang up about that. Like egg mayo. No thanks.
No,
That's
I
a
like
bit
egg
harsh.
mayo.
Yeah.
But that's just a bit much for me. And then egg mayo and cheese. It's like, what the fuck are you thinking? I don't know. It's
I've
just
never
like
heard of egg mayo and cheese. Where you at?
some people do that. Some people do that.
Really? Egg mayo. and
But that's a
bread.
triple negative, which means it's a negative.
Yeah. Whereas an egg mayo, you're saying, is follows the rules of the
Yeah.
double.
So you're telling me
dairy,
you wouldn't have pizza with stuffed crust? That's double dairy. Cheese stuffed crust.
It's the same dairy, though.
It's the same. Yeah,
Just
you're allowed
cheese
cheese
with
on cheese.
So you're willing to layer cheese infinite times, but you can't have cheese and yogurt.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Cheese and yogurt. Like dipping it in.
I just couldn't think of anything.
Wait,
Cheese
yeah.
in-
I can have some fromage frais on the side, please.
Yeah, cheese and where is it? Cheese and a bit of
Cream fraiche.
Nice, that's the one.
cream fraiche. Right. Yeah, we are live, by the way. So what I need to turn down the jingle slightly, didn't I? Oh, my voice has gone.
Yeah, please.
Advanced audio properties. Okay, so it's currently at 3%, oddly enough. We'll turn it down to 2.
Really? Is it 3? That's so weird.
Yeah. It's very small.
Okay. All right. We'll just go from there then. All right, shall we get cracking?
Yeah, we're jingling when you're ready.
Excellent. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Quick Resume Podcast, episode 133. We are a video game podcast. We talk about games sometimes. Sometimes we talk about Xbox. Not this week though. Really, it's been a bit of a quiet week, and Xbox hasn't really been in the news. So if you're new here, my name's Deck. That's Tim over there.
Hello.
And we've got God on the podcast today. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Say hi, God.
Hi, guys.
Oh my god, he is.
Hi,
real.
guys.
That's me.
He's so cash. He's a really nice guy. Yeah. Yeah, we've got Caden on the show, but he doesn't have his window today.
Mid-move, essentially, so
He's
pretty bare bones at the minute.
Yeah, we'll let him off. We'll let him off this week.
So you have my existential presence today.
Yeah, it's really nice. No, I really like it.
Have you managed to sort out your wire situation, or are you still figuring that out? With your desk?
So my brunch today, that involves a lot of discussions in regards to how to solve this problem.
It was a business brunch, was it? Nice.
A few ideas.
Is there no space around the side of the desk, or is it? Because I know it's not the back.
It's bolted to the wall.
Yeah, but if you do go round the side, you'd have to have really long cables.
Yes.
So...
Yeah, trust me, Tim. I know.
Oh no, I was debunking Deck's idea. I wasn't telling you what to do.
Sorry.
I was saying that it just doesn't. It wouldn't really work. I think
No,
your
but
best
some-
bet is to just have everything on the table and then just tidy it up with cable ties and boxes.
Yeah, but that's three different. That's PlayStation, Xbox, PC, 2 monitors.
But you should get a cable extender. That would be my idea.
But and then just have like,
Woo.
the cables on cables. Like, so I've got an idea,
You
and
can
this
wall
might blow
mounts
your
and
mind,
stuff.
but I might just unbolt it from the wall.
Oh,
Just a
you
little
said,
bit.
You said we weren't really. You said you weren't able to mess.
Yeah,
with anything.
I didn't consider that at the time.
Oh, well then, yeah, that's the no-brainer, easy clap.
But
option.
I've not looked into the logistics yet.
Smash a hole through it, mate.
Yeah, it's like,
Take a
so I
hammer
bought
to
a
it.
sledgehammer and I just fucking went in. Yeah, I knocked through to next door.
Now I don't have a
fed the
desk.
wire through to him.
No,
yeah,
desk, no problem.
But the next time you see me, next time you see my lovely face, it will be in my new room. So
That's
Nice.
very exciting.
That's
you'll
very
be looking
exciting.
at different stuff other than my bed and my air fryer.
Yeah, and your boxes. You have so many boxes, dude. What's that about?
Put all my stuff in.
For such a man with such a small amount of space. So
Yeah.
hang on. What do you mean? Can
Excuse
you
me?
not like keep it under your bed or something?
I now have a room,
That's where the
to put
monsters
shit
are,
in.
Deck.
which is
Yeah,
nice.
that's fair enough. All right.
Anyway,
Well, you
less
know
about
what?
me.
Well, I mean, sort of, because do you know what? I've had like a real bone like I've wanted to pick. I wanted to get this off my chest, and I would have spoken to you two about this before we got on the podcast today, but we haven't really spoke, have we? You know, we're doing our own thing. Managers,
Oh God.
how do we feel
Ooh.
about managers?
I
Oh.
think they're useless pieces of shit in most situations. Like,
Right, yes.
approve my holiday, and even that's tough for them to do. And everything
Yeah.
else, I think they're just a waste of space.
And what's that about? Like, are they born that way, or does it like do they learn that, or like when they get the job, does something happen in their brain? Like, what
Yeah.
happens?
This is where, now I'm a manager. This is where I switch off the all human emotion brain.
Yeah,
And,
that's right.
They don't exist to me anymore. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Do you
guessing
have
you've had some
managers in the
manager
army,
troubles.
Caden?
I am a manager.
So you're a twat. Well, who manages you?
Well, everyone manages everyone, but I manage my team.
Nice. How big's your team?
About 30.
Oh, big boy. That's a Billy big boy.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah?
You want to manage people?
Is this an Xbox podcast or is this fucking...
Not really.
life decisions with Deck?
Well, anyway, look, this is the deal, right?
Right.
I work from home 1 day a week. This guy, he gets to do therapy 1 day at home with clients. And my manager's like, you know what? You keep working for us. We can make, you can work remote more days. Once you're qualified, been qualified for 4 months now. And they're like, no, take it back. You're going to have to wait another 6 months. So anyway, I left. I'm leaving in 3 months, 3 weeks, sorry. The other day, I finish all my work and I say, great, I'll go and get some stuff done. I'll look after the kiddo, My manager calls me into her office and says, what were you up to? Are you bullshitting me? Her words.
Oh.
And she was like,
Oh,
I
Jesus.
tracked your activity and I know you weren't doing anything that day, which is quite funny because like I even like put a timer up on YouTube so my computer doesn't lock.
Yeah.
But that's because I know my manager won't leave me the fuck alone. I've done my work. I've seen my clients. I have treated them.
Yeah.
What's this about? What's this weird culture that we have where like
You just have to
there's
sit there
like
and
this
click
environment.
emails, mate.
You just have to sit at your desk and you just have to do this for 3 hours, like after you
Yeah,
finish your
you
work.
have to be there.
No, I'm a good morning worker. I stack all my work in the morning, so I tend to finish off early. And the advantage of home working is that once that's done, I'm out. I'm not
Yeah.
going to ask you for more work, am I?
Yeah, it's completely unreasonable. Yeah, I don't understand that with managers. They kind of treat you like shit, and then they're really hesitant to give you raises or any sort of benefits and everything. But then they expect you to go above and beyond and ask to be given extra work and to like all this kind of shit. It's just like,
Yeah.
if you want that out of me, then you got to go above and beyond as well. Like, this is a two-way street. Like, I don't get it. Like,
What's my reward for doing my work well and finishing it efficiently? More work. So no,
Yeah.
I'm not having that discussion.
exactly.
And some managers, I've had some in my life, probably only one or two, who have been very like firm but fair, and don't really care. It's just like as long as you get your work done. Which of course, in my line of work, like I can't just randomly pick people up and start them again because I see them for months on end. You know, so they wouldn't even work in my setting to just like take someone, do extra work at the end of the day. But I've had a real bee in my bonnet about this all week because I was like, I mean, do you have nothing better to do than track my activity for 2 hours at the end of a day? Bearing in mind, I'm literally finishing in 2 or 3 weeks. So like I'm winding down my work, but she still decided to make a big fuss out of this. Like,
well,
I'm not crazy, am I? This was weird. This was weird behavior, right?
It's weird. Yeah,
This feels like weird
you've told me
behavior.
some weird
Okay,
stories about your manager anyway, so it doesn't really surprise me.
She's a strange person.
Hopefully, she doesn't watch this podcast.
I hope she's not. Yeah, she's not into niche Xbox gaming podcasts. Otherwise, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, you're fucked. Imagine if she just happens to stumble across it. Someone links it to her.
I'll be so humiliating. I'll be absolutely humiliated. Anyway, I really wanted to get that off my chest. Thanks for coming. That's the end of the podcast.
Nice. Yeah, nice short one, guys.
Jingle us out.
Yeah.
All right, then. Let's kick things off with what we've been playing. I know we've been playing a variety of things this week. Tim, I'm going to throw it to you. Let's hear it, buddy. You're having a fucking cracking time, aren't you? Let's hear about Final Fantasy Rebirth for you the second week running now.
Yeah. I've booted up Xbox fucking once in like 2 weeks.
Hate Xbox.
Fucking hate Xbox. There is a weird like guilt about that. I don't know. Do you get that sometimes when you're just like really into playing a game on like your other platform and you just kind of feel guilty that you're not using your main platform a little bit? You know, like
I feel like I get less out of it. I get less out of it because I want to get achievements and stuff.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. Yeah, and it just bums me out as well because the trophies are so much better on PlayStation, and I'm just like, oh, I wish like Xbox just did something like this or had like their own version of a platinum trophy. So I feel like I do want to like collect. And
that platinum, they need that. Yeah, they really.
Because like I am gonna platinum that game. I love like all the side content in that game. Like it's where I've lost.
It feels good to show off what your games are, doesn't it? Like when someone looks at your profile and goes, "Oh, he's showing off Final Fantasy 7 or this game or that game." They're his passionate games.
Yeah, I really love that game, and I can prove it. You know, that's
exactly.
Yeah, and like for example, anyone that if Xbox had this, anyone that looked at Caden's profile or whatever can just be like, dude's a fighting game main. Like he fucking clocks in hundreds of hours and gets like max rank on like every single fighting game. You know. Yeah,
it's just an infinite symbol next to Caden's profile on the fighting genre.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, no. So that's been me, just full on Final Fantasy, and yeah, I'm having an absolute blast with it. I literally put in the group chat like the other day as well. Like this genuinely could be like my first like 10 out of 10 for a while. Like it's seriously that good in my opinion. I just feel like it just does everything just really, really well from the characters and the relationships to the story. I mean, sure, I know that even you said like surely some of that dialogue's getting to you, Tim. I mean, it's JRPG.
I'm only joking though. Like it's exactly
like you come to expect that from the genre. Like there is going to be those sort of moments, but in my opinion, it just nails like pretty much all aspects. And the side content is just so good in that game. It's quite reminiscent of like other open world games you see in Horizon, you know, all those, you know, like you get your towers, you unlock more of the map, you know, you do your little bits, but like everything just rewards you so well, and everything kind of has like a story behind it as well. Like even like this card game I'm playing called Queen's Blood in that game, as you beat all the players and stuff like that and you reach new ranks, you get like these weird like kind of flashbacks, and there's like a story behind the inventor of the game, of the Queen's Blood game, and there's like some evil like spirit or something that like forced this guy to like create this game, and I think it's gonna like lead to like a boss fight or something like that at the end. But like I don't know, it's just stuff that keeps you on a hook and keeps you wanting to do that side content. The game's so fun in itself, but then I'm just like I'm kind of like uncovering this some weird ass story that I don't know where it's gonna go or what reward it's gonna give me at the end. And yeah, it just does all that really well. And then there's pretty much everything's the same for all the different bits of side content you can do. So I'm just like going through each area and clearing out all the bits. I don't think I'm gonna like do that all in the first playthrough, like just 100% like all side shit and stuff like that. I don't want to. I mean, I'm like 40 hours in at this point, and I don't know. I'd like to say I'm like 60, maybe 70% of the main story done. So like I am taking my time with it. But yeah, it's freaking great. It'd be interesting to see what my final figure on it is in the end, but I have a feeling it's just everything's just going to kick off more in the main story as well, and shit's going to go down. So I feel like the number can only go up as well from this point. But
first 11 out of 10 on the Quick Resume podcast.
Yeah,
a PlayStation game.
Yeah.
But it's seriously, it's just it's just really really good. I'm having a great. It's everything I wanted and more. So yeah, buzzing.
But it's no small feat, if you're a regular listener or if you're new here, it's no small feat for Tim to be considering giving a game 10. That does not happen very often.
Yeah, I don't think I ever have, or if I have, it was a long time ago. But yeah, it's just I just get lost in it, man. Like it's the first game in a while where I look at my playtime and I'm like, oh, I have put 40 hours into this. Kind of feels like I put 40 minutes into it. But like it just doesn't feel like you're sinking that sort of time into it. Whereas like on the other end of the spectrum, I really felt like Starfield was quite a chore to get through, and those like mid 20 hours or whatever I put into that game really felt like an eternity. So yeah, it's just I don't know. Yeah, it's been a while.
Brilliant, fantastic. Caden, what have you been playing?
I've been a little bit here, there, and everywhere again, as always. Been playing my fighting game, so been playing a bit of Tekken, playing some of the new character on Street Fighter as classic. Been playing a little bit of Balatro again as a nice little side bit. Played a bit of Helldivers 2. I finished God of War Valhalla.
Oh yeah, how'd you get on?
Yeah, loved it. Really, really great.
It's really good, right?
Spoilers.
It was great to jump back in and experience a different story. It wasn't father-son thing anymore. It was all like Kratos learning just to fucking accept what he's done, why he did it, shit like that. It was really, really interesting. I liked how they did that. It was like therapy. I'm sure you can probably appreciate it a little bit.
Yeah, it was very good. Yeah,
so I really enjoyed that. And I also this is a probably quite a big topic this week. I played the Battlefront remake this week as well.
Oh, the Star Wars one, yeah.
Yeah.
The collection
go on.
came out.
Did you actually manage to play it? Did you actually manage to play one of the 3 servers?
So my friend is he's not a big gamer, but he's a huge Star Wars fan. He's passionate about Star Wars. So when the Battlefront remake was announced, we were all over it. We were like, hell yeah, we're going to blast through the campaign. We're going to do 64-player fucking multiplayers. It's going to be sick. Logged on. There's no squad system. So there's no so in Battlefield you can join a squad and then matchmake and then you join a team or whatever. There's none of that. You just have to try and join your mate in the game. But it's all like server lists, if you remember that kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's only like 6 dedicated servers.
Oh my
the rest
God.
are yeah. It's a bit of a mess. Matchmaking is a bit of a mess. The netcode is a bit of a mess. I think the biggest game we got into, there was 6 players overall, and and we tried for ages to get into big lobbies.
What were they thinking?
It was tough, really, really tough.
They just expect this not to be popular or something.
Well, I don't know. It's not got crossplay, which is a big shame. What else is wrong with it? There's just a lot of things wrong with it, and for gamers. Sorry, what?
What platform did you buy this on?
I've got it on PlayStation.
Okay.
I wanted it on my PC, of course, but it's not crossplay. So I had to get it on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a big shame. That's all, because it's a game dear to my heart, very dear to my mate's heart. So it was an easy win. All they had to do was make squads and the matchmaking work, and it failed both of those.
Yeah, because those sort of games, you don't really need to do that much to sort of appeal to what people want. They kind of just want nostalgia with some modern features to search and find games easier. Like it should be a slam dunk, like you said. Yeah.
So it's a bit of a shame. It was quite of a shame to play that, but I'm still going to keep hold of it. I'm still going to play through the campaigns because it's just nostalgia. So it's such good nostalgia. But yeah, a little bit of a shame, but it's still, if you like the Battlefront, you'll like it. It's just the multiplayer is pretty much non-existent
Mm.
or very awkward, very tough to get hold of. But yes, that's
It's
been
so
my
weird
week
that.
of
I
games.
feel like
Really.
I feel like there's been like an increasing trend of like, because we're kind of in a bit of a nostalgia era, aren't we? I feel like we're getting that where there's like a lot of publishers like remakes, remasters, and all of that. And some of them are like great, some of them are like middling, and some of them are whatever the fuck this is. And like the GTA is another one that comes to mind.
Yes.
That was like, what are you doing? Like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, why damage your brand to like half-ass something like that? I
Yeah.
don't know.
It is weird. I
It was an easy
don't
win.
know.
It was an easy
'Cause
win.
a lot of them they
Yeah.
like shell out the IP as well to well not shell out the IP. They get like a different studio to do the remake or the remaster, right? They don't do it from the actual in-house studio. Like I know that same thing happened with like the Pokemon games when they remastered like Diamond and Pearl and stuff like that. They did it to like they used a different studio and they made those games and like people just didn't like it. They did it in like a really weird art style. They removed and changed things and all that kind of stuff, and it just didn't hit. I think it got like a 6 or like a 7 out of 10. And Diamond and Pearl were like really beloved games. But then yeah, you get some absolute slam dunks. Like I think Mass Effect was great, wasn't it? The way they did their collection, their remasters. I think that went really well. There was something else that shat the bed with remasters as well recently. What was it?
I know
I
they
can't
did
remember
that
what it was.
Warhammer Reforged thing. Not Warhammer. Was it Warhammer or Warcraft? Or
I don't know.
I can't remember.
There was some controversy around The Last of Us Part 2, if you're remembering that. That didn't go down well.
Yeah.
The PC port, maybe.
that still functioned as a.
Yeah.
And there was like, so just for reference, I just booted up Steam real quick. It's on mostly negative. 20% of 5,200 reviews are positive.
Oh, man.
20%.
Nearly as bad as Starfield.
Yeah, nearly.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
Also, is this what price tag has this game got?
£30 right now.
Okay, so
29.33.
Okay,
And it was
Still well.
10% off for pre-order as well. So obviously a lot of people pre-ordered it, and yeah,
yeah,
wasn't
what
great.
could go wrong? It's a remaster.
Well, the thing is, a lot of
What could go
people
wrong?
reviewed it, and they were like, obviously because reviewing it, you play it before it's out, so the server issues weren't a thing. They were obviously, yeah. So they were reviewing the game as it was, and as the game is, it's great. But as soon as you want to play online, which is the whole modern age thing, it goes to shit.
Damn.
Big old shame.
Big old shame, isn't it? Especially because it's like, with these remasters, it's like it's for an already niche audience. So like, releasing something which is clearly not ready, it's just going to piss like your most important audience off. So yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't say Battlefront is particularly niche. The old Battlefront games. I
No,
don't
but
think
it's
so.
a dated game. No, you are right. Obviously, it's very popular back in the day, but not many people are going to be buying this right now. Like,
Okay,
what's
right.
the concurrent play rate on Steam? For example, I bet it's like 50k.
I
Pops.
don't even know. How does this thing work? How does Steam work?
You're the PC boy.
I don't think you could view it from within Steam. I thought it was like another website that did the Steam metrics. I don't know.
I'll find out for you.
But
Right, you go on.
But yeah, go on.
Okay.
Yeah, I think is that everything you've been playing? Is it good?
Oh, is this the one? Is it Battlefront Classic Collection?
Yep.
Yeah, 1,042 players in game.
Oh shit, so not many.
Peaked at 9k 3 days ago.
Yeah, probably that was probably day one, I expect, and it was like, yeah, this is sick, and then the server sucked, so no one played it.
Yeah, which is obviously Battlefront is like a defining multiplayer cornerstone in video
absolutely.
games. It's it's like a big deal. Everybody who's played games knows what Star Wars Battlefront is. So yeah. All right, cool. What have I been playing this week? I finished Midnight Suns. Messaged you guys about that in the chat. I've been talking about that for a few weeks now, so I'm not going to go on a full breakdown of it. You can hear my thoughts in previous episodes if you want, but I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I think I'd end on about 7.5. I think it's a really wonky game. It's a really weird game. But the actual stuff that Firaxis is good at is still intact there, like the actual strategy combat, even though I still think it's not as good as their previous games. The aesthetic of it was really cool, like the whole Midnight Suns, like actual aesthetic, like the greens and like the Lovecraftian side of things, was quite cool. I quite enjoyed that. The direction of the story was tolerable as well. Nice little twist at the end there. Like some of the characters you got to engage with were pretty nice and interesting. You know, sort of some B-list and C-list Marvel characters, really. But yeah, it has a real problem with yeah, keeping you interested and pacing. Way too much talking. Like, shut the fuck up. Let me fight. Let me fight some baddies. Let me get some cards.
Yeah.
And at times it feels like it has systems that it doesn't really need. Like the whole, like it feels like as a Firaxis game, they tried to streamline it a bit for a bigger audience. But then there are times where that hasn't carried through to other elements of the game. Like, for example, I think the combat is quite streamlined. And I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way. It's simpler, and that's fine. But then, like all of the research options that are in the game, it's just like endless and for really small things at times, and it like forces you to doing things that you don't necessarily want to do, which is okay because it can make you try other heroes. But I just kind of felt it just felt very wonky at times. It's the best way I can describe the game. But I had a good time. I enjoyed it. 7.5. I'm glad I played it. I've been wanting to play it for a while, and it's not short either. It's quite meaty.
Yeah.
It's a
I think
meaty game.
I ended up just under 3 days, I think, in game time. So you're just under 80 hours, really, because I had all of the DLC from when I started. So I had quite a lot to chew through. But yeah, I had a good time.
Nice.
Now, though, I seem to be. It's just all come together in a way where I'm only playing like deck builder games now. So I caved and bought Balatro because I knew I was going to love it, and I do. It's fantastic.
Turns out you're OP at it.
Turns out I'm OP. I had a three of a kind ace build that was like so much fun. It's exactly like you think. It's a roguelike poker based deck builder. And the objective is to basically make broken hands to get really high scores, and you have to keep making increasingly high scores by getting these modifiers and buying packs to like upgrade your deck and try and make it all synergize together. Really satisfying, really just well made. So much fun. Yeah, I think I've probably played it for about 5 hours. I would say the first half an hour to like 45 minutes can be a bit jarring. It can be, I don't think it does the best job in explaining some parts of it to you. It just throws out some jargon like malt on the screen, you know, and if you have game sense, you can kind of figure out what that means, like the multiplier. But I think a lot of people are going to see that and be a bit confused, and it doesn't all quite click until you start playing. But that's fine. I think it's really brilliant, and I look forward to sort of playing that more. And it works great for remote play because you've got touch controls now on your phone, which I've been doing a little bit. So it works really nicely for that.
Nice.
Steam has a remote play, doesn't it? Or does it? Because if I wanted to play it on my phone, because like I would, it's perfect for your phone, isn't it? Yeah. I know obviously you got Steam Deck and shit, but
yeah. But I mean, that's like what Tim was talking about earlier. Like, I was like, oh, it'd be great to have this game on the go because I can buy it on my Switch. But it's like, I would really like to play it on my Xbox. So I do it that way, and then try and do remote play.
How does it control on Xbox? Because on PC, it's very nice to just click around and drag the cards and stuff like that. How does it work in regards to sticks?
Yeah, it works pretty well. I haven't come up against any issues. Yeah, I haven't come up against any issues, which has been nice. So there's Balatro, which is great. Gets a big thumbs up from me. I'm sure I'll be playing that on and off for a couple of weeks now. And I started Inscription last night as well, which has been yeah, something I've been wanting to play for ages. And I think I sat down. I must have played that for like 5 or 6 hours straight. That's bloody good as well.
Please make sure you finish it because it evolved. The game is just constant evolution through it all. You think you've played the game now? I assure you, you haven't. It keeps going. It's twist after twist. It's everything.
Which is really annoying because I went on how long to complete because I was like, this is going to be like a modest game, right? You know, it won't be too long. And it says online like 12 hours, and I'm already like 6 hours in. And I'm like, is that really right? Like, does that really sound right? Is it going to be longer than that?
Promise.
That sounds right. Okay, all right.
And you want to finish it. Like, it's not a case of you don't get to the 8-hour mark and you're like, oh, this is getting a bit samey now. I promise you, it doesn't.
Yeah, okay. But I can't, without giving any spoilers, it feels like I'm on the home run right now. It feels like I've got one run left to make, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Where are you?
I'm in a cabin.
Got it.
Nice. Well played, Greg.
Thank you.
That's
Um,
great.
But that's great. It like what a fucking wow. Like it's just it really makes me smile, like these sorts of games. I tweeted about this yesterday, but like it's the sort of game you play and you're like, I fucking are games are cool, man. Like this is
Yeah,
so
it
cool.
is, yes.
It's like a roguelike deck builder escape room hybrid. Like what the fuck were you thinking? And why does this work? Like what you like a
Yeah.
horror
That's why
escape
games
room
are
deck
so
builder?
special, isn't it? It's because
What are you doing?
that's why I try and talk to people who play COD and FIFA, and I'm like, "Have you played this game?" And they're like, "Oh no."
Yeah, that's
I'm
right.
like,
Yeah.
like such an experience. Like, there's so many beautiful stories and so many weird things that wouldn't exist via film or via book. Whereas, like you
No.
said, description or so many other weird little things. And
It's
like, as
just
we just
mental,
talked about
man.
with God of War Valhalla, like some of it is actually pretty therapeutic and stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Then with Valhalla, the way that the storytelling went into the gameplay, lovely stuff. And I think it's why there's like an emerging like market for roguelikes because people are like more and more devs are realizing they can tell these really nicely contained stories in a system that repeats itself.
In a gameplay loop, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Hades.
right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Hades was kind of the tip of the spear, wasn't it? Before that, it was just kind of
Hades was the
it
first one, really,
repeats
wasn't it?
because
Yeah.
it repeats because and maybe I don't know if the Outer Worlds came first, but it's not really a roguelike, it just sort of repeats. But anyway, yes, really good. It's like a big shout out to Devolver Digital as well, because if someone came to me and they pitched Inscription to me, I'd be like, what the fuck are you smoking? Like, what are you doing? Like,
Get
what do you
out.
mean escape room roguelike deck builder? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And I don't know how well it was actually received in the end, but I know people kind of loved
Very
it. So
highly.
Pretty
I
positive.
think it's probably like a
Very high.
high 80s sort of thing.
From what I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, 86. And it gives real Undertale vibes that I felt that quite quickly. I don't know if you felt that as well, Caden, when you were playing it.
Yep.
It's got this real the game wants you to feel like you're being messed with. And that's like a really special feeling, especially for if you're like a core gamer that plays quite a lot and you're used to like gaming conventions. Oh, I'm going to click this and then this happens, and I'm going to do this and this happens. Nope, Inscription's like it knows that you think that way, and as does Undertale. So it's it makes it really really enjoyable. Really enjoying that. So I'm now playing Balatro and Inscription, which are both roguelike deck builders at the same time, and I'm absolutely okay with that. Yeah, which is weird because usually I do get genre burnout. But maybe that's more of a AAA thing. Like usually, if I've played like too many first-person shooters, like after Starfield, I was like, I don't want to be near a new first-person shooter. And when I finished, I think it was the first Horizon, I was like, I need a break. Like I had God of War to play at the time, but I was like, I need a break from this genre. I need to play something else. So they're nice palette cleansers as well. I don't know do you guys get that where like it's nice to have like a smaller palette cleansing game between the big stuff?
Yes,
for sure.
totally.
Yeah. Haven't had one in a while, but
that's what fighting games have always been for me. I've always got a big game on, that I'm playing, and then when I want to chill out for an hour or two, not have to like know what this character's thinking or this character's doing or where his family is from. I don't care. I just want to punch someone sometimes.
Which is so weird to me because like I find fighting games so fucking intense and my heart rate
so stressful.
yeah. I've got like a heart rate of like 500 whenever I play a fighting game.
Yeah.
So
I do like the idea that Caden's mind is so moves so fast that he just finds fighting games therapeutic. It's like, oh, finally something my speed.
Something
on the
something
screen.
chill. Yeah, he's like playing it while cooking. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah, man. Beautiful. It's a beautiful video game that really excited to keep playing. So before we go on to honorable mentions, I just had like a really quick idea. I didn't mean to spring this on you guys, but like I just like thought for a second. Do you think it would be? Should we do like a what came out this week section? Would that?
I'd be
Or do you think that would
interested in
clog the show up too
just
much?
across
like
all
if there's all
platforms, just and how we feel
yeah, just like
about
what came out.
them.
Yeah,
I think we kind of do that without talking like without meaning to a lot of the time.
But then where do we draw the line? Because so many games come out. Like, are we doing like all small ones, indies? Because we're a big fan of like indies and stuff like that, aren't we? So like, we might be mentioning quite a lot of games. Might be quite a large segment if we
maybe just ones that we're interested. Like if there's 10 games released, maybe be like, here's 3 games that we like the look of or the sound of or have played. I think that could be an idea.
Yeah. Well, maybe
Use
experiment
code
with it.
quick at the checkout to get 10% off this game.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean, we'll put it to the audience as well. Like, if you're listening later on Spotify or where you are or on YouTube, let us know if you think that would be something you're interested in for us to have a chat about what's come out this week. Kinda. What's come out this week, but we're only vaguely interested in. That'll be the name of the segment.
Nice, straight to the point.
Thank you.
I like it.
The reason I bring it up is because this week, Unicorn Overlord came out and it got received really well.
I've heard of this.
But I don't understand what that game is. I don't know what it is, and I thought maybe one of you guys would know what it is because it's on an 80A at the moment on OpenCritic, right? Anybody know what Unicorn Overlord is?
No.
Is this the one on Games Pass?
No, it's not a Game Pass game.
Genuinely not Scooby. I have heard of it,
Okay.
but I don't know what
I
it
don't know what
is.
this is.
I thought this would be a good one for Caden.
Damn.
Caden knows all these.
Yeah,
kind of
sorry.
games.
This is usually my
It
kind of
looks JRPG.
bag.
Why do I not know of
Yeah.
this?
Well, that's what I thought as well. It looks fucking
tactical
fire.
role-playing game developed by Vanillaware.
It's like Fire Emblem vibes. Yo, this actually
Yeah.
looks sick.
What did you say it was called? Sorry, Unicorn.
Overlord. Overlord. Oh, yeah, Overlord. Sorry, I thought it was Overload. This whole time, I thought it was Overload. Like,
Oh,
even when
this looks like
I saw
your
it
kind of thing.
online, and I thought it was Overload. Am I dyslexic?
I think you might be, dude. Uh-oh. Where's the air horn?
Yeah.
Dyslexic on the podcast moment. Uh-oh. I'm dyslexic.
God.
Thumbs up in the chat if you're dyslexic.
Trivializing dyslexia. We're really breaking boundaries today, guys.
Yeah, we are. I'm doing good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this is kind of great. I'm into this.
Yeah, it's Fire Emblem vibes, isn't it? Yeah,
I don't know what I'm gonna want to fucking play after Final Fantasy as well. I'm in the market for some games.
Play some Balatrum. I've bought it for you. I tell you what. Oh fuck! I was gonna say I'm gonna play Cyberpunk next. I think. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, you said you would. You're running out of time, dude. You got 2 months left.
It's all right. I won't probably play the second one. A bit too hype for me.
Yeah, that sounds about right. All right then. Caden, have you played? I wanted to ask you because I know Tim hasn't. Have you played the Cyberpunk expansion?
I have not.
I'm buying this game.
I don't think I will either.
So you won't play it?
I mean, I booted up Cyberpunk on my Xbox, and I don't know, it just still doesn't feel like it runs fantastic. You know?
I thought it runs really well now. Am I just like happening to stumble across like PC articles and stuff? But I could have sworn it runs pretty well on Xbox and PlayStation now.
I have heard good things. I just don't think I'm in the right
that is a game
frame of mind for a big FPS kind of open world thing.
Yeah, sure.
But maybe.
Yeah, okay, cool. Well, it hasn't been the best start to this section, honestly, because I brought up Unicorn Overlord. None of us had heard of it. None of us have anything to say about it.
Now
so...
I legit want to buy that now. So that game looks.
So that's
great.
cool. There you go.
It looks great. Man. It looks well up my alley. I'm into it. Anyway,
wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, while we're here, did anything else come out this week? I don't know.
Battlefront. We've touched on that.
Done that. Nice.
Did the gigantic thing come out, or has that not come out yet?
Not yet.
I don't think that's out yet.
It's quite a while away, actually.
Not sure on the release.
2 months.
On that one. Oh, okay. Didn't realize it was that far off. Dragon's Dogma's
there's a nice
week.
Yeah, I've got that in the honorable mentions for us to have a quick chat about, so that's fine. Okay, well that's fine. I don't think there's anything else like that we're particularly interested in that's come out this week, is there? Yeah, it's good. We did good.
we should have like gone like really hard on that, come up with like a graphic to like intro, and then just talk about one
Yeah.
game
There's
we
an
don't
idea I've
know
got,
of,
and it's
and then
just
So,
really
it's like a
fleshed out.
PowerPoint slide. Yeah, it's like this
Yeah.
is what's come out this week that we're vaguely interested in. Slide 1, Unicorn Overlord.
what is it? Don't know.
Finn.
And yeah,
Yeah.
It has nice colours.
it does
Yeah.
have nice colours. To be fair,
That's funny. Sick. All right, then let's move on to some of the honorable mentions for the week with what's going on. We'll start out with multiverses,
Yeah.
boys and
dead,
girls.
innit?
Multiverses is the, if you've forgotten, the Warner Bros. Owned Smash Bros. Clone. So it's got your characters like, it's got your Bugs Bunny, it's got
Batman.
Superman, it's got Batman. I was really
Velma.
struggling there.
It's got
It's got
Finn.
Velma. It's
Velma.
got Finn.
Everyone
Who else does it
fucking
have?
hates
Rick and
Finn.
Morty.
Rick and Morty.
Harley
Very good.
Quinn, Superman, Iron Giant.
Who's the little Martian called? The little
That is his name,
God, I
isn't it?
really had to watch what I really had to
Martian
watch what I was gonna say
Manhunter.
there.
No, that's fucking
Martian,
That's DC.
DC.
little Martian man, little Martian boy, Martian
I know.
Boo.
Like invading.
He's literally
Zim.
Martian something. He's Mr. Martian or something like that.
It's the Martian. I love that.
No,
The Martian. Looney Tunes. Marvin the Martian.
Marvin, there we go.
I prefer Mr.
Is that the
Martian.
guy with like the Centurion helmet, and he's all
Black
like,
Yeah, yeah.
that
All
guy,
like void
yeah,
place.
yeah, I know him. Yeah,
Controversial.
That's why I went with the helmet. I didn't want to just be like black.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
His face is black.
It
is true.
But that's why I was like, he's the guy with the Centurion helmet, right? Ken's like,
Yeah.
yeah, black.
He's got funny. He's got funny shoes, doesn't he?
White eyes.
Yeah.
Just pointing out everything.
I think he's wearing gloves, isn't he?
Guy with the arms and the legs. That guy.
Yeah. 2 legs, 2 arms. Yeah. Marvin the Martian, isn't it? So this is coming back after it was pulled from the market a while back because they wanted to do some work on it. It's coming back with new stages, new characters, improved netcode, and it's got an engine upgrade from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5. Am I allowed to say that I'm actually kind of excited
Yes.
for this? I kind of like this game. I liked
me and
this
you,
game.
We went ham, didn't we, Deck? Me and you were
I
pretty
I
committed.
thought this was fun. Like it wasn't too. As someone who struggles to commit to fighting games, this felt like quite a low commitment, but like there was still quite a lot of quite a good skill ceiling. It was a bit spammy at times, yeah, but it had this 2v2 focus that was kind of cool, and I don't know. I'm
liked
kind of excited for it.
I am. I know.
Right.
I know for a fact I'm going to play when it's out. Like, I just am.
I liked it, but I wouldn't say I'm excited to see this come back and for me to dive back into it. I did like it at the time, but I felt like I'm a little bit. It's been and gone for me a little bit. And I did enjoy it, but I don't know. Maybe we'll see because I played this quite a lot with I think mainly Deck. I don't think I played too much with you, Caden. I think it was mainly Deck. But I do remember I used to main that reindeer guy, and I used
Rain
to main
Dog?
Rain Dog, and then I used to main LeBron as well. because
mean, he
LeBron's
did,
in
yeah.
that game.
Oh yeah, LeBron! I forgot
Yeah.
about LeBron.
Okay, it's so
That's
weird,
so
isn't it?
funny.
So Batman,
Saying that
Harley
out loud,
Quinn,
Think
LeBron.
about it.
Yeah, so weird. But yeah, LeBron was kind of great.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
They also
I
had some
don't know.
really fun and like playful mechanics in the game, didn't they? They were like quite experimental with like some of their stuff, and I thought that was really cool.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there were things, for example, with LeBron, where I could pass the ball to you, and if you could like press a button to throw it up, and then if I then caught it, I like did like an alley oop with like more power because it like there were
Yeah.
like things you
Oh,
could
that's
do with your
wild.
teammate. It wasn't just like punch opponent. Yeah, you could do like little team plays with your friend.
There was some map where you could
yeah.
throw the ball, wasn't there? And it just bounced off of the walls and it just kept hitting the
Yeah,
other team.
yeah, there were some maps where, and I do quite like that as well because then it means that you're not just like a one trick. LeBron's my main. It's just like no, I use like Rain Dog, I use LeBron, and I'm just like, oh, we're playing this map, so I'm going to use LeBron. You know, I can't remember actually. Did you know the map before character selection? I can't remember that game.
I think so. Keep in mind, it
Yeah.
was a beta at the time when it was initially being played, so things like
Yeah.
this, they've probably
But
ironed out for the main
But
game.
yeah, it was a really solid game. There was a lot to it. I think they did a really good job with making the characters like kind of feel unique in their own ways. Like they each had like their own role, whether it was tank, whether it was kind of supporty, whether or not they had like parry systems, all that kind of stuff. Like every character felt quite unique in their own way. I remember Wonder Woman was quite cool in that respect, where she felt very unique to other characters as well. It was decent. I'm just not sure if I'm like, will this hit? Will I come back? Or has this just been a been and gone? It was a fun game, sort of, for me. That's kind of where I'm feeling for it. But
Well, I think the good news is, I mean, was it free to play?
Yep.
yeah,
It was free to
At least
play,
when
and I
we
think
played
we'd
it,
already bought. Yeah, we'd already bought some stuff on it, and it'll be coming back with quite a bit more stuff. I don't think that stuff is confirmed yet. But what if I was to say to him, and I don't know if this is true, but what if I was to say that Pennywise was a character that it was launching with?
that's kind of hype. To be fair, that is kind of hype. I would like to beat the shit out of people as Pennywise.
Yeah. I also just, I just think they have like a cool. It's weird. Like it is weird. It's loony.
Mm.
Because like the characters they can pull on from Warner Brothers.
mean,
Like
what
it's
other
all the
game
Game of
is
Thrones
gonna-
characters.
Oh yeah, Arya. Yeah, I remember Arya.
Oh,
was in
yeah,
there.
Yeah. Gandalf is on the cards. We've got Lord of the Rings characters on the cards
They
as
don't do
well.
anything good with Lord of the Rings though, so I wouldn't get your hopes up. Might have gone.
That's true. We've potentially got Ron Weasley.
Okay.
What? Where was the excitement for that?
Oh, Weasley sucks. He's the
Yeah.
worst character in Harry Potter.
It's
Imagine
not
Hagrid.
you.
That'd be sick. He'd go around on his little
me.
bike.
Yeah, it can be Hagrid.
Hagrid would be cool. Actually, they're doing it. That could be a bit of an awkward one.
Yeah, oh yeah, that might be.
Should
just have to
never
use
use
AI.
him again.
Powerpuff
yeah.
Girls. That's pretty hype.
I mean, it is unique. I mean, what other game can you say? Pennywise versus LeBron.
None.
None. I would say none. Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh man. Anyway, yeah, I think that's quite exciting. I'm looking forward to playing that. I haven't, at the very least, having that there as an option for a social game, because I think that they did well at designing the game around 2v2s, and I think that was like, if that wasn't there, I'd be a bit less thrilled about this. But it helps it stand apart as its own thing, particularly on platforms that don't have a Smash Bros. Really, other than maybe indie stuff like those games. I can't remember, but I think you guys probably know what I'm talking about, like the Smash-like games that are indie games. Brawlhalla is one of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, well, that's multiverses. I think it's probably worth, as our next honorable mention, just to very quickly and delicately touch on the Sweet Baby Ink controversy that's going on at the moment. Have you guys heard about this? Do you know what this is?
We'll let you lead on this one.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Damn. So basically, there's been like a big upswell of like basement gremlins who have only just now realized that diversity consultants exist for really everything. People who specialize in writing for different people. Like if you asked me to write a character from Africa, do you know how bad that would sound? Like, I would be cancelled immediately. It would be awful. So for that reason, diversity consultants exist to say, no, this is what it would be like, and that's how that would work, and that's the culture, and that's the, that's how it would look, etc., and that's the body language. And people have now only just realised now that this is clocking on. And as we all know, there's like this increasing trend now where people are like, man, what's up with these women in my video games, and why are they not all looking like porn actresses all the time? Because I can only assume they've got porn brain rot, which is, we're losing
We've
so
all
many people to porn brain
rot.
It's it's tragic. It really is. But unfortunately, the outcome is that Sweet Baby Inc., which is the name of like one of the bigger diversity consultancy companies, is they're under a lot of harassment at the moment. There's a lot of chatter about this online at the moment. I really envy that the two of you haven't had to be part of this conversation. But it's, I mean, is there anything to say about diversity consultants or thoughts on any of that at all?
Quite important. Like, there's a really good. This is bad now because I can't actually remember the name of the actor, but he's talking about like how different directors are needed for different films. You know, like he was talking about how what is it? It's like Sopranos is directed obviously by an Italian.
Mhm.
Schindler's is directed by a Jew. Things like that. Like, I do think certain people will make certain like demographics of games much better. Like for certain, I don't think that's really up for debate. And like you just said there, you couldn't make a black character, not because you wouldn't want to, but just because culturally, everything
It
like
wouldn't
that,
be accurate.
it wouldn't be
Yeah.
accurate.
I
You
don't know
wouldn't-
enough about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just,
Yeah,
you're
and that's
ignorant
okay.
to it,
That's
yeah.
fine. But yeah, I do think there needs to. Yeah, I do think there needs to be that kind of, especially if you are going to make that kind of game, you need that awareness.
Yeah, and the thing is, you get a lot of these gamers with a capital G who are like very critical of like, you know, any time there's a woman who does anything in a video game, it's like fucking this is so unrealistic, you know, and it's like, ugh. Like what's going on here? Like why is there such an increased sensitivity about anyone that's not a white male doing something in a video game? And you know, you're absolutely right, because I think these things get criticized as like bad writing. That's like the against argument, but the, you know, the for argument is like, well, it's just more representative or inclusive, you know. It's otherwise, you know, otherwise what we'd have is we just have different games that are created by different demographic silos. You know, we'd have a black team making a black game, a white team making a white game, and it just wouldn't. That's not really representative of the world we live in, is it? You know, so and of course it depends for the universe you're writing in, of course, but I think it's fair to say, like you said, Caden, it helps make the stories feel more rounded and accurate, because there's definitely games I've played where we've had someone impersonating like an Englishman, you know, like a
They
Brit, and
do
I'm
it
like, what the
so
fuck is that?
bad.
I don't talk like that. What you want about?
Yeah.
Sweet Baby Ink, I reckon could have helped. I reckon that's what they're there for.
Is that what they're doing then? They're obviously trying to, like, I don't know about this. Is this essentially a team trying to get these characters, these games, more cultured correctly? Is that what you're saying? Or
Like a freelance.
Oh, they're a
sort of
consultancy.
situation.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're freelance. They're consultancy companies, and they're obviously
Yeah.
not the only one. So, like, dev teams will pay for their services. They, you know, they don't invade the office and make everything woke. You know,
Yeah.
they say, come on board. You know, we want help writing this, and their list of credentials are really good. You know, like recently, I think there was like God of War Ragnarok, there was Spider-Man 2. I think like Red Dead Redemption, you know, like it has, but of course, people who have a problem with these sorts of things are really sensitive to it. And they're like, yeah, but that one character said that one thing about white men being bad. It's woke now, and Sweet Baby Ink must be responsible. So that, yeah, that's all it is, you know, and it's just caught fire at the moment. You know, it's like Gamergate 2.0. It's bizarre. Yeah.
I think it's
Any closing thoughts on any of that?
I mean,
Yeah.
it makes sense. I think it's quite a good way of approaching it. And you know, if done right, I feel like it can make these projects and these characters, come to life better and be less offensive and be more accurate and, you know, just be represented properly, right? So yeah,
what's
completely agree.
the controversy then? What's the problem?
Well, the controversy is, you know, a lot of people, very conservative gamers who feel that anything that Sweet Baby Inc. is involved in becomes woke.
Got it.
Is that what the kids say?
Yeah.
Woke.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You know, because there was a whole thing about like with Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man Miles Morales about, is Miles Morales Spider-Man? Like that's like a whole debate that people like to pull out that feels very racially charged. That's like, no, he's not Spider-Man, he's Miles Morales.
Yeah, that's something I quite like, where it's like, you know, they made like there's all that thing about making like Superman black and stuff like that. It's like,
Mhm.
well, rather than that, just make a make a cool black character like Black Lightning, or what's it? Is it Black Lightning his name?
Black Adam.
No, I'm thinking of
There's
another
another
character.
one, isn't there? Yeah.
I think it is Black Lightning, but like just make and Miles Morales, make cool black characters rather than making characters that aren't that demographic. That one.
Mm.
Yeah, I do think there is absolutely I do think this is important. Totally.
Well, and that's the thing, isn't it? It's all grey area. Like, there's no rights or wrongs in writing. Like, things might upset people somewhere along the way, but like from my understanding, the idea of a diversity consultant is to try and help a team accurately represent the demographic that they are wanting to represent. They're not going in and changing the writings. They're coming to them and saying, like, we've got an African American, we've got a Liverpudlian, we've got Asian. Like, can you help us to make these characters feel accurate? And that's where it starts and ends, in my opinion. So yeah, like I said, it's, to me, I don't really understand the controversy, but it's just people being upset, really, that there's other minorities involved in video games. That's really how it feels. You're forcing them in my video games. That's that's like, stop making them political, which is the most brain dead. Like, keep politics out of my video games. It's just.
Yeah, people are weird. You
It
can't
really
do
does
anything
hurt.
these days without offending someone.
Yeah. Fabulous. All right, that's me babying. Next up, we've got a sign of life from the Hellblade 2 Twitter account. There's photo mode. As you would imagine, the photos in this game look more real than my actual life. I don't know how, but they do.
Yeah.
Would you say you use photo mode?
I don't.
Nor do I.
I do sometimes.
But it's funny because obviously Jamie, I don't know if you've mentioned him here before, but he loves a bit of photo mode, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So clearly it is a big deal.
I do occasionally, actually, now that I think about it, but it depends on the game and if it's like, if the setting like interests me. I took quite a lot in Starfield. I took quite a lot in Ghost of Tsushima as well.
I mean, yeah.
So it depends. Yeah.
Yeah. I've done a fair bit of photo mode in my Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 playthroughs, because there's some very nice like areas and like architecture and styles and stuff like that, and views. So
you're just doing upskirts. I know what you're like.
T for upskirt photos, yeah. Yeah. Whenever I'm on a ladder, mate, photo mode.
Whip that out.
Yeah.
Get that free cam mode on.
Yeah. But yeah, no. But I'm not an avid user, no.
Yeah. All right. Cool. And hopefully, just while we're on the topic of Hellblade 2, we should be coming up to previews soon. I reckon in the next sort of maybe 2 to 4 weeks, we might start seeing some previews from outlets about that have maybe played the first 2 hours or something, and just report back.
Okay. Interesting.
So we'll see.
Very interesting. Yeah, we'll see how those get received. We're still feeling quite positive about Hellblade 2?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I look at it like it's I imagine it's going to be an upgrade from the first one, and the first one is, I think, on like an 85.
Yeah, I think so. No, was it like an 82 or something? I can't remember.
84.
84.
Yeah, just checked 84. So, yeah. Very excited for that one.
Nice.
Okay. Next up, we got Halo Infinite is showing some signs of life. They've put out a big patch coming this week, including the network overhaul that they've been talking about for a while.
Okay.
Weapon balancing, 7 new squad battle maps, which is squad battles, the one that we played when we played a few months back. I think it's, I want to say 6v, no, maybe 8v8.
8v8.
It's like small big team. And that very quickly became a fan favorite, but they haven't added to it in a while because it was meant to be a temporary playlist, but then they kept it in. So they've added 7 more maps to that, anti-cheat and custom firefight as well. So it's big in terms of what's changing, but like, I think the game's still on life support. Like, it feels like it's still in sunsetting mode. Like they've got a skeleton team like ironing out the bits and bobs. like I genuinely don't know if we're going to see any other big content drops. Like maybe the stuff that's basically finished. There might be a new weapon or one new piece of equipment. But I think that's a real shame because they had some really big potential to add some new sandbox items to the game, maybe a vehicle as well. But
there's some real momentum, and I do feel like they kind of just botched it by basically just saying they're ready to move on to the next project, which is exciting in some ways, but like you essentially just you signed off your game, right? And then that immediately stops people wanting to actively express interest in it and dump time into it and or money into it. So at that point, you just like you said, you sunset your game because no one's going to go into the store and buy for a game that's being phased out. So
yeah, and I know it's like it's still performing okay on Xbox. Obviously not amazing, but it does have a dedicated audience. And for the first time, I think the actual Halo community is fairly happy with the state of the game. I feel like they only ever like Halo when it's like on the verge of death. Like it's the only time they actually find enjoyment.
It's actually not that bad. Yeah, that seems to happen all the time.
It's the Halo cycle.
Halo 4 is dog shit, and then Halo 5 comes out. Looking back on Halo 4, actually kind of a banger.
That's right.
Yeah, the exact same thing. It always happens. Yeah, so weird.
I'm starting to see those posts about Halo 5 now. Like it's starting to come onto my timeline.
Well, I don't know. I have seen those posts for the multiplayer, but you will never see a post about the campaign. Everyone universally does not.
I did see one
campaign.
actually.
Really? Well, he's probably.
But even I think that's a bit of a stretch. Yeah, yeah.
So.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, it is what it is. I think they really nailed the foundations of that game, and they've made those foundations somehow stronger. But it's just everything else on top. Like it's just the fact that there's still only been one weapon in the amount of time that it's come out, and like a variant of that weapon is just like crazy to me. Yeah. All right, let's have a bit of time about Dragon's Dogma 2 then. I don't know about you, Caden, but me and Tim were big Dragon's Dogma fans back in the day because it was kind of like a Monster Hunter adjacent game, and we really liked it despite its shortcomings, and it did have shortcomings. And it was one of the games actually back in the day before Tim completed games, which he seems to have made a bit of a turnaround on now. He'd gone through a bit of rehab, and he does that now, so that's good.
Come out the other
end. It was one of the games that you finished, didn't you? You finished earlier on back in the day.
Did.
You revisited it. Yeah. And so that's how you know, again, that it's there's a mark of quality to it. So Dragon's Dogma 2, after 12, 13 years, is finally coming out, and it's all the previews are looking pretty banging, guys. And, from what I've seen, despite my grievances with the frame rate, it looks fucking good, man. Like this looks like a Japanese Elden Ring, and, which is a weird thing to say because From is, of course... Yeah. From that side of the pond. So any thoughts about Dragon's Dogma 2 as it comes into release this week and we get probably final reviews?
So I never played the first game. It was never really on my radar at the time. But after Capcom kind of just nailing everything they'd been doing lately, I don't know if I'm going to buy it kind of week one, but I think if I hear nothing but good things from you guys, from reviews and stuff, I don't really have a big game until Hellblade. So I'm thinking that you could fill in that slot, We could slip in there could fill out March. What month are we in? March, April for me.
Yeah, more in March, buddy.
Yeah, I thought we were in Feb, but I don't know what's going on here.
Halfway through March.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it very closely. I think a big thing for me was learning it didn't have co-op. That for me was a really not a shame because it never had co-op, but it just to me it looks like it should.
I wonder if
that's what it is. Well. That's just a game. That's fine. That's not even a fair. What's the word? Fair critique because Judgment. That's not even a thing. Yeah. So. I'm looking at it. I'm definitely looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, it is quite interesting because me and Tim always spoke about that back in the day. But I suppose the problem was that it would become a bit of a Monster Hunter clone with a bit more flourish in its combat. And so I am kind of glad that they've doubled down on the direction, and they've been because the thing is about the pawns, the PAWNS, the pawns. Pawans. When you train them up and they get skills and they level up and you can like share them online. So there's a bit of a online feature there, and they've kind of doubled down on that instead of like stripping down, being like, nah, just replace the pawns with your friends. And I think they have a bigger role in the story this time around as well. So it was always a bit of a weird feature to me, but if they're going to go for it, then fully go for it. But yeah, what do you think, Tim? Any thoughts on Dragon's Dogma 2?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've obviously been pretty hyped for this, pretty excited for this ever since I've heard about it. Weirdly, I'm definitely in the camp where I'm not sure if I will get this immediately or whether or not this will be a purchase later down the line. That has nothing to do with like the quality of it. I just feel like I just don't really need it, and there's just a lot I've got kind of going at the moment anyway. But I think 100% this is a game I will visit at some point, whether or not I just cave through the hype or whether or not it's just done later. But yeah, I think it looks great. Literally every single preview I've seen about it or trailer I've seen about it, going through the classes that are in the game and how it looks, how it plays. Yeah, I'm well on board. I think it looks really good, and yeah, I do think it's going to be a bit of a banger. I think this is going to drop probably a mid 80s or higher. Definitely. I'm not sure if it will crack 90s. Maybe it might just about scrape a 90, I think. But yeah, I'm definitely thinking mid 80s or higher. And yeah, no, I'm really excited for it. I'm excited to see obviously what comes of it as well. If I don't get it straight away, like what kind of classes there are in the game as well, because I know that they haven't revealed all that. They've kept it quite close to their chest, like the hybrid vocations and stuff like that you can make. Not sure if I want to spoil myself with them or if those will actually just tip me over the edge to buying the game, because I'll be like, yeah, I want to be a magical snake charmer. Bye. Yeah, like who the fuck knows what's in that game? It probably is a snake charmer or something. But yeah, it looks great. Yeah, I'm excited to see how this does and how it drops.
Yeah, me too. And if it's going to be reviewed as highly as I suspect it will, we're already looking at a pretty stacked Game of the Year category, and it's fucking March.
It's nuts, isn't it? Yeah.
And this is the sort of game that if it does review well, it will be a shoo-in, because it's open world RPG. It's just a shoo-in.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, right. As we come out of our honorable mentions, then I will remind everyone, if you're watching or if you're listening today or after the fact, we'd really appreciate a like. We'd maybe appreciate a subscription or a baguette. Throw a baguette our way as well. That would be nice. Quite hungry. Haven't had lunch.
Have you not? It's 20 past 2. Do you have breakfast?
I told you I had a half a week Bix. I told you.
Oh yeah, damn.
So you've not even had a breakfast then, really, have you?
Had half a breakfast.
I'm sorry, man.
That's all right. Gonna go get some food after this.
Nice.
Got the rents here. They'll take care of me. All right. So we've only got two real main stories, like bigger stories this week, and the first being the performance of Sea of Thieves on PlayStation 5. It's coming out next week. I can't remember the exact date actually. Should probably have checked that. I think it's coming out in the next week. But as of right at the time of recording, Sea of Thieves is still the #1 most pre-ordered game on the PlayStation 5 store. They're really weird to me. Like that's even weird. Like I feel like nobody was expecting this, right? Am I crazy? I mean, I don't know. Joaquin gets in my ear about this. I don't know if he's here today, but he said to me, "It's not unexpected." I was like, "It fucking is. It is. It's unexpected that it's out pre-ordering Dragon's Dogma 2, Stellar Blade, which is PlayStation exclusive, and Rise of the Ronin, also a PlayStation exclusive. I would say, yeah, that is, and it's also not like the hardcore audience of the PlayStation are used to have a particular type of game that they like, which is more a Stellar Blade or a Rise of the Ronin, not Sea of Thieves. So, thoughts, guys?
No, I'm with you. I was not expecting this. I was expecting it to do well, like a pretty lukewarm reception. I think it would do well and grab some players' attention. But at no point did I think this would be topping the charts in any way in terms of pre-orders. Which, by the way, April 30th is the release date by the looks of it. So actually, still quite a while. Still like a month and a bit.
Oh wow!
Like a month and a half. Yeah, April 30th. But yeah, no, really, really surprising. Like you said, this does not seem like the kind of game that's in the ballpark of PlayStation players. But then maybe that's why it's popping off. Maybe
maybe
PlayStation
there's
players
nothing that suits that kind of.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, this looks different. Yeah, this looks like it could be kind of fun. You know, it's been a while since I played with my friends. Gone onto my friends list. Forgot friends list was even a thing on PlayStation.
Does it have crossplay?
Single-player games.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
As in with PlayStation and Xbox and PC.
Yeah,
it does. Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. It's great news.
Yeah, so it's definitely good.
I think that's cross save as well. You know.
Jolt life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it does have cross save. Yeah. Yeah, so it's definitely going to jolt some life back into the game. Not that I think it was ever dying at any point, but it's just going to give it that resurgence. You know, like yeah, for sure. No, like I couldn't be happier for it. Sea of Thieves is a real soft spot in my heart. I think it's a really great game. I've been with it, you know, ever since it first came out. Wasn't a huge fan of it when it first came out. I could see that there was something there, and I played it for a solid amount of time with you, Deck, but kind of dropped it. And then every decent update, we kept going back, and we've now clocked a very healthy amount of time into that game. Yeah, no, it's a real success story, Sea of Thieves. So I'm happy for it, and yeah, very shocking that it's doing this kind of well on PlayStation. So
yeah, and you know, it'd be really nice to hear from like the #1 Sea of Thieves fan, you know, in the chat right now. You know, what do you think? Yeah, I'm referring to you.
Yeah.
Right.
You, mate. Eat a banana on PS5.
I mean, I'm not gonna go back and play it, but
really?
That's not. The thing is, my opinion on Sea of Thieves is a weird one because
weird.
I know it's a good game, but it isn't for me, and I can say that.
Yeah.
It's fine.
You know.
Yeah. With certainty, yeah. I just think it just makes me laugh every time. Like, yeah, of course, of course, no problem. But like, I remember the last time we tried to play it. I think it was the Pirates of the Caribbean thing, and that we like, but even me and Tim weren't clicking with that DLC fully. I don't know, but whatever. But I remember at one point I just heard like a putting the controller down on the table, and you just leant away from your mic and you just went, "I don't get it. I don't get it." Yeah. It's like it's burrowed into my memory of you just being like, I don't get it. Like it's just
there's a moment of realization where it's like, this game isn't for me.
And you're so eager as well. Whenever we hop on the boat, you're like, so what's the plan? Like, what's the next destination? Me and Deck are like, wherever the waves take us, bro. You're like, no, we need a plan. Like,
give me a map marker, I'll get it.
You're always just like, I just don't know like what I'm doing. Like what's like so many times you were literally like, what's the goal here? We're just like, find the X, bro. Pull out the map and find the X.
How do I upgrade my sniper?
Yeah.
Yeah, why has my sniper got a crack in it?
That's the scope, man. Yeah. It's called being cracked.
And then we've been on the seas for about 12 hours, and then some fucking knobheads come in their little speedy boat, and I'm tired. I just want to get back and buy some new colours.
Yeah, and they've got like fucking.
And we've been attacked, and I don't know. I couldn't do it.
Cutlasses. I don't know, man. There's just it's just. But I also don't think you've experienced some of the things that make Sea of Thieves great as well. Like when you've just got like a massive, a ship full of booty, and you're deep in the seas, and then fucking Kraken appears and wraps at your boat, and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake! And you gotta like fight off this like Kraken or Megalodon where you got a whole crap ton of gold to store in at the outpost. These are the sort of moment to moment things that make Sea of Thieves like really, really fun. And I don't think you've ever had those moments either. So whether or not that would spark a bit more interest, I don't know. But
yeah. And like the social element as well, it's a really good game for like facilitating
like the
social engagements.
Like
the megaphones, that's right.
People are like ships are like fucking miles very fast, like, hey, what are you guys doing? And we're like, we haven't got any loot. Steer away.
Yeah. Nothing on here. Nothing on here. Just
great.
spawned. Yeah. it has its moments, and like I think for that reason, that it's why it's found a pretty consistent audience, and why it's performing like it has. It operates in an area that not many other games do, and I get to pull this out for probably the last time ever now. Skull and Bones, ain't it?
Yeah, it really ain't.
Yeah.
Because that got announced, like you might remember, it got announced like just after the release of Sea of Thieves, and while everyone was really down on Sea of Thieves, understandably, and everyone was like, "Oh, this is this is going to die so fast because I'm just going to play this other awesome Ubisoft Skull and Bones game," and fucking five delays later and 6 years later, the game's out, and it's just
the game is Skull and Bones.
yeah, that's right. I also think that just while we're on the topic, they did some really good work with like the puzzles and the encounters in that game as well. I think we did some of the Tall Tales and stuff, didn't we, Tim? And the puzzles, like how it works emergently in the open world,
Climber.
is really good. Let's not talk about Climber. All right. There's no need to bring that up.
There's no need to bring it up. That's still one of my favorite gaming moments I think I've just ever had.
Have we spoken about it on the show? I can't remember.
I think we might have. Do you know the story of the Climber moment, Caden?
The Climber incident.
I don't know what this is.
Oh God, I don't know. Is it one for the podcast? I don't know.
Oh, definitely. We're here now.
Right,
Yeah. So we were doing one of the. I don't know if it was one of the Tall Tales or if it was just an everyday, riddle to figure out.
It was just a riddle, yeah.
And we were reading it out loud to each other, over the mic, and it was like, "Oh, go to where the Climber is and search for his treasure." And Tim said that out loud, and I was like, "What does that mean? Like, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean?" And there's this cave, and there's some vines, and there's this poor little guy at the bottom of the cave, and we're like, "What does this mean? What is it like a tool? Is a Climber like a tool? What does it mean? What does it mean?" And I even specifically commented that I was like, "Do they expect me to have a fucking degree in English to figure this out?" I don't know. And I was Googling it. I was like, "What is a Climber? What is a Climber?" And then 5 seconds of silence. Tim bursts into his wheezy little laugh that he does. And I'm like,
Yeah.
"What?"
Climber?
And he's like, "Is it Climber?"
Oh God.
And we had been going on for half an hour. Like, what is a Climber? And I got so mad because I was like, "You baited me." I would not have thought Climber if you hadn't put that in my head.
The riddle the same. He was like, "Where the Climber lies." And he's like, and then we Googled it, and then he was like, Google says Climber is like a patch of vines or something.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was so bad.
How did you Google Climber and not get Climber?
I don't know.
Google did give us a patch of vines and not describing a climber. Yeah, so I kind of half blame Google for this one too. But yeah, and yeah, we were literally just like climber, and then we were just like, okay, yeah, so it's the climber in this cave, the dead guy, and then we found it immediately. But no shit, and it was so funny, yeah, because Deck was saying shit like, "It's so fucking cryptic. Do I need a fucking degree to play this game?" And we were just being fucking idiots for half an hour. Oh God, I've never felt more insane in my life than that moment.
It's so stupid.
Actual simulation moment.
There's somebody has to research what went down that night. How could we possibly have misinterpreted what that word meant?
Yeah, I do think it was
and
2
we
a.m.
were staring at it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was 2 a.m., which is where I pop off and see Thieves, by the way.
It's
when
true.
it comes
It's
to
true.
3 a.m., I'm just the king of riddles. I just find everything. And I'm sniping sharks 5 fucking miles away at the top of the crow's nest.
Yeah. 8 p.m., you ask Tim to go to the X on the map. Can't do it. 2 a.m., he doesn't even need a map. He just goes ding, digs it up.
Yeah, 8 p.m. Climber, 3 a.m. Climber.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, anyway.
So yeah,
I
look forward. Yeah, I welcome all of the PlayStation Sea of Thieves members to have their own Climber moments.
Hopefully, this game climbs on up the ladder,
nice. Climbs on up the charts. Yeah,
the pre-orders. Yeah,
nice. Brilliant. Okay. Well, and also, it will depend because it's still a month out now. We'll see how it goes. But if it performs well, I can't help but think, Xbox is going to be looking at this with dollar signs in their eyes. Yep, Starfield's next. That's right.
Hellblade day and date on PlayStation.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. You know, and in the same way that I imagine PlayStation are looking at PC day and date now as well. You know, after Helldivers, that's an ongoing conversation in the community at the moment. As we've said before, we're clearly in a time of flux here in the industry, particularly when it comes to consoles.
I'm pretty sure
But the
Helldivers
results
at the moment is outselling Rebirth, which is fucking crazy.
Mm.
Considering Rebirth,
yeah,
was
Rebirth
most
isn't selling that well,
anticipated-
apparently.
Yeah, it was the most anticipated game of the year. The first one obviously sold like fucking hotcakes. It's ridiculous. I don't think it's doing badly. I just think people are just encapsulated with Helldivers at the moment, and yeah, more people are buying Helldivers than Rebirth, which is fucking nuts. Yeah.
Well, Helldivers has gotten that like unexpected hit zeitgeist
Just
network effect going on, doesn't it? At the
buzz,
moment,
yeah.
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 Yeah. It's like Power World did. All right, lovely stuff. So we'll come to our last topic for the show then, which is around the article from Insider Gaming confirming from their sources that they're hearing that the PS5 Pro is coming holiday 2024 this year. Pinch of salt sort of stuff. It's obviously not an official confirmation, but Insider Gaming have a good track record. And I kind of just wanted to gather like thoughts on this. Like, you know, that's because there's been an ongoing conversation around like the necessity of mid-gen refreshes in terms of consoles and, you know, like the length of console generations as well. Like back in the 360 day, we had a particularly long generation, didn't we, of like 8 years, but it's been getting smaller and smaller. And the last mid-gen refreshes that we had weren't all that popular, like with the One X and the PS4 Pro. Like it was okay, but it was very much an enthusiast thing. And we're also at the point now where it's like, I don't know how much more you can squeeze out of like, hey, who's this really appealing to? You know, when you look at the jump from the last gen to this gen, it's a reasonably good jump. Like whether or not that's been fully taken advantage of is another debate. But like the jump, like these consoles are capable of pretty solid 4K, pretty solid 60, sometimes both, sometimes not. So what do we think? I can just see Tim's wandered off, Kane. So what do you think?
It's a strange one, like upgrading a current generation, because, like you said, yeah, it only really tailors to people who can obviously afford it because it's expensive. It's this generation is still pretty young. I mean, how long's it been? 3 years?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's under 4 years, isn't it? Yeah, so yeah, just over 3.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess it's that. How much of a jump is it? I suppose.
Yeah, and but even then, I do have to wonder. Like, you know, let's say like the benchmark that they're aiming for is 4K 60 here. Like, I do wonder what the appetite is for that.
Yeah.
But, not that there wouldn't be, not that people don't want their games to run better, but like this is going to be expensive probably.
Oh yeah,
because
it's yeah.
the specs, like the leaked specs, are quite high. So I would imagine this is going to be like maybe 600 quid, maybe even a bit more.
Yeah.
And in which case
Easy.
we have to start asking the question of like, who's this for?
It's not going to be for many. Like, because like it's the current gen. It's not next gen yet, is it? It's not going to be next gen for another couple of years or so. So, yeah, strange one.
It also just feels to me that like this console isn't reading the room. Like the room is very much like we don't feel that there have been many games that have really taken advantage of the current systems.
Agreed. Yeah.
Like that. I couldn't really tell you many that did. You know, a lot of people thought that Starfield would be that, but it, you know, it obviously wasn't because it was bottlenecked by the way it was kind of architected in its fast traveling and everything. Big in scope, sure, but like even something like Final Fantasy Rebirth, I'm sure maybe people felt that was pushing the boundaries. Maybe not. Maybe a bit safer than a lot of people had felt because it's kind of got.
What do we think is the next boundary then? Because I've got an idea in my head. I feel like it might be the same as you, The next kind of
Well, exactly.
Yeah. Like,
well, I guess the wrinkles to the conversation are there. Like, so a lot of people think, oh, maybe Elden Ring, but like Elden Ring didn't, as phenomenal as it was, it wasn't
pretty.
like,
I mean, it was.
yeah, it wasn't good direction, but it
Yeah.
technically it wasn't like
Mhm.
massively impressive. It was an open world. It was very seamless, but not any more so than games last gen. You know, so like I do wonder if we're at that point now of diminishing returns. It's like, well, what else can we really be expecting games to do? Just never have loading screens, I guess. But I don't know if.
Mm.
So coming back to what you were thinking, Caden, what's the game that you have in mind then that you felt might be that one?
I mean, Hellblade for me. It's going to be that's the next game I can think of that is going to be pushing the hardware that
It
we've
does feel
got.
like that a little bit, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then
Um,
Hellblade's what, an 8 hour single, 8 to 10 hour single player.
No, I'm talking about Hellblade. What, as in what, Hellblade 2?
Hellblade 2, yeah, I'm pretty sure
It's
that's
gonna be
only
longer than 8
wasn't
hours.
that rumored to only be like 10 hours or something like that, wasn't it?
But you've gone from 8 to 10
Well,
here.
Well, I said
well,
8 to
they've
10
said
in
they're
my
going to keep it
initial-
a smaller length.
Okay,
yeah.
right, okay.
But you know, and then it's going
But
to
it's
be
still, I
quite
think they're probably looking like
I think 12 at
yeah.
least, yeah.
It's going to be quite like
Because
a
the first one
narrative.
was very short, wasn't it? It was not long.
Mm.
But to me, that's what I see as the next big push, the next big showing off of the hardware that we've got. Because like you just said, there's nothing that's really showing off our kit at the minute. I am just going to have a quick flick. I mean, God of War was obviously very stunning.
But I think this is actually, I think it's what's more interesting here is the different approaches we're taking. Like Tim's saying that he thinks that he feels length plays a role in this, whether it's boundary pushing. So, like, explain that a little bit more, Tim.
Well, no, I just think that, you know, in terms of it being, you know, I've seen games get criticized. I know that Final Fantasy Remake got criticized for the same thing. Of it, like, sure, it was a big game, it was pretty and all that, but it didn't push the boundaries in anything that technical because it was quite a linear game. It was quite a single player story linear game, and I feel like Hellblade is going to be very linear. Like, sure, it's going to look quite pretty, but aside from some visual differences, the game itself will probably be relatively linear. But then it does push the boundaries in other areas. The issue is games don't push the boundaries in all areas. Hellblade is going to push the boundaries in visual fidelity and probably sound as well, but it probably won't push it in terms of map size, like area size. It'll be linear, you know, it's not going to push in any of those areas. So I don't really think there's a game that really does it in every way. I think Rebirth does it in a lot of ways. I think if you guys did pick up Rebirth and whenever you do eventually get round to it, you will be quite shocked at how fucking big the game is. That there's literally like 6 or so map areas that genuinely feel like they could be entire game maps in themselves, and there's like 6 of them. It's fucking enormous. Like, it's ridiculous the amount of content in that game. But then, yeah, it's like you do have to fast travel into those areas. Those areas are sectioned off. You know, you don't just seamlessly traverse from one big area into another. It doesn't load it all at the same time, you know, all those sort of things. But yeah.
Maybe it's not a jump that we're looking for in regards to like technology, I guess. Like, I don't know, because if you look at big games like Baldur's Gate 3 and Helldivers 2 now, like they're not really doing anything in regards to showing off the hardware, but
Well, I suppose this is a really interesting part of the conversation, isn't it? That really what we've just shown here is that like the pushing boundaries narrative is it's really subjective, isn't it? You know, like because personally for me, like I wouldn't consider size or scope to be something that is like I don't feel like there's ever going to be a game like if there are games that are bigger than the biggest games that are already out. Like I don't know, that doesn't feel like innovation to me. It just feels like it's you can make a game massive if you put enough loading screens and compromises in it. Starfield, for example, right? You know, so it doesn't. That to me, that isn't that, but for someone else, it might feel like that. You know, if there's loads of distinct areas, and it just kind of keeps going. You know, it might feel like, oh wow, this I don't really feel like this could be possible on a previous machine. But then, like Tim was saying, you know, maybe downplaying a little bit. Well, like a visual fidelity bump, yeah, okay, that's pretty cool and all, but like it doesn't. Okay, cool. Like the next good-looking thing, you know. So like, thanks, but whatever. but then it's even like the important stuff, arguably, like gameplay. Like what does gameplay boundary pushing even look like? Like you might play something unique, like I was talking about Inscription earlier, but it's hardly like pushing technical boundaries. So in which case, how could you make something that pushes boundaries and utilizes hardware? You know, it's a really actually interesting conversation about like when we're talking about what's the necessity of a mid-gen refresh, or even if we start to look forward to next gen, like what's the necessity there? Like what are we doing with the next gen here that's really gonna help games be better, because that's ultimately the conversation we're trying to have, right? And help devs make good experiences.
Yeah, I genuinely don't have an answer for you. Like, I can't put an answer on what makes a game next gen in comparison to this generation. Because I mean, I feel like we're all lovers of many different genres and many different games, so I don't feel like we can really pinpoint that. But I just think it's important to talk about the fact that it's not just about graphical fidelity. Otherwise, we're always every single game that pushes the next gen boundaries is just going to be another fucking action adventure game that looks pretty, and then we're stuck in that loop. Which sure
Yeah.
it works and it's working for now, but I don't want to be stuck in that loop. You know, I don't enjoy gaming for that. I enjoy gaming for, you know, sure, I do like to lose myself in a world. I haven't spoke to you guys for like 2 weeks, and sure, that's great. But I'd say predominantly, I'm still a very social gamer. I want social elements in my games. I want things that make it easier to pick up and easy to play, and you know, even things like UI elements. All this is very important to how a game functions, flows, and plays. You know, so I don't know.
And it's like, you know, I'm with you, because I mean, you know, I've spoken about it on the show countless times, you know, like my cynicism towards like hyper realism, and like, you know, the industry kind of fetishizes it a little bit, and especially core gamers like just like seem to really love the newest shiniest thing. And I would argue that the Hellblade thing is maybe on a slightly different level, because everything is photo scanned in. Like it's why the game's taken so fucking long to make for a still smallish experience. Like it's not just like it's been made and the dial's been cranked up to 10. However, I do understand the point that like if we're just moving more and more towards hyperrealism as the next boundary pushing feature, it's like that's far less exciting to me than the idea of something in gameplay. You know, I do wonder, I suppose the next thing, thinking even further forward to next year, right? The next game with the biggest technical jump is probably going to be GTA 5, right?
6.
Yes, 6, yeah. And, you know, does that make it a better game or not? I mean, I don't know, but they do a lot in those games, like technically, that a lot of other games just wouldn't bother doing. You know, Red Dead Redemption 2, you know, same thing. Like technically, it's like crazy, like how many simulations are going on there, and the NPCs doing their own thing, and you know, and then it's just all kind of happening in real time. Like that is like technically very impressive. Like whether we consider that boundary pushing or not, I
That
don't
was
know.
what they tried to show off with Cyberpunk, wasn't it? Initially, with the crowd simulations and things like that, and then obviously when it came out, the crowds were a quarter of the size, probably less than that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do think GTA will. And that's a very good point. I kind of forgot about GTA. It's been such a long fucking time frame, but yeah, I think GTA 6 will actually. Yeah, absolutely right. I think we'll start pushing
probably AI, right?
A lot more. Yeah, I think it probably is AI. I think you're probably right. I
like
think
the game
it's just,
adapts around you and how you play it. Like
not even that. I think the
picks
world
up to
just.
your style of playing.
I just think the world is moving, and in a way, like regardless of what you're doing, is maybe kind of what the next kind of technical leap is.
Yeah.
But yeah, AI.
I do feel like supposedly Xbox are looking to get AI in their next console as well, and I don't see it mentioned here unless I've made a mistake. I don't see it mentioned for the PlayStation side of things, but you know, it's definitely an interesting thing. You know, like just for example, like AI for physics, I feel like would be something that would be really helpful to like to help engines and hardware like process physics well, because physics is something that I always love in games, but it does feel like it's underutilized, or like proper physics, you know. So I feel like that's something there that could help, you know, run the calculations and take the burden off maybe the GPU.
Helldive's got some lovely physics. I think they've nailed the physics in that. Have you seen some of the charger bowling they've been doing?
No.
No.
Oh, it's so satisfying. Like, there's this one clip where this guy is being chased by a charger, and he no scopes it with a railgun, and it goes flying into a bile titan, and the bile titan like explodes, and it's just like, oh my god, that is like the coolest thing,
Yeah,
That's
that is
and
amazing,
that's just
really
yeah.
cool.
a pure physics interaction. So purely coincidental, but the physics allows it. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, physics is another good one.
Yeah.
Because
I
it's
mean,
like, I'm not sure how excited I can get about 8K. Sorry, Tim. Go on.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh no, I was just gonna keep going on about like the AI in like loads of different ways. I was gonna say AI could be quite cool in a game like Monster Hunter, something like that. Like literally the monster you're fighting is like adapting to how you're approaching it, whether or not you're being aggressive or defensive, what kind of weapon you're using, and it like sort of changes, and stuff like that as well. I think that could be kind of cool and quite unique, but yeah.
It's a really interesting conversation, and I think for me, like as we get to this point in gaming, like the only other jump that I would really like to see is to be able to have 4K and 60 at the same time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be willing to pay a premium price for that in the next year or two. I'd wait for that to come next gen. But also, like I'd also like if you put a gun to my head and said, "Would you like a dockable Xbox, like a Switch,
Mhm.
or a Xbox that can do 4K and 60?" I'd pick the former. Like I'd pick the
I
dockable
would
one.
as
I
well.
think that's just where I'm at in my life.
I think I would
Did,
as
did
well.
you did you say I agree?
Yeah.
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 And that's what I mean. Like I feel like we've hit the diminishing returns of like the next jump isn't as exciting to me as the last jump was, and I would prefer like more. I don't want to say bells and whistles, but I prefer other like auxiliary features on the console that would give it other utility. You know, so we'll see. And the PC market is increasingly growing, or still growing steadily, while the console market is declining. So maybe things start to alter there as well. But it's really interesting to see, to think about how this is going to evolve in the console landscape in the next 4, 5, 6 years, because they must know this. Like they must know there's going to be a diminishing market other than the hardcore for this sort of stuff.
Yeah, it seems like a weird move, right? Especially when they're making such kind of razor thin profit margins anyway in terms of hardware sales. It just seems so unnecessary, right? Like
Yeah.
why? Like just stick
Yeah.
with what you got until you make the next big step. Like this just seems like a real waste of resources unless they figured out a way to recycle a lot of resources and then only use certain bits to actually upgrade it. I don't know, but
Yeah. I think I reckon I think they know they can get an easy PR win because Xbox isn't going to do anything like this. And that we've heard. I think Phil said a couple of years back, like we don't see any need for a mid-gen refresh, and we did hear it on the podcast that they did a month or two ago that they do plan on showing off some hardware this year. But I don't think it's a refresh. It's probably like an update, like a slimmer version, or whatever, or maybe they're showing something further off in the future. Who knows really what it is, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be a refresh. So they think they can get an easy PR win. But then the other side of it, like you said, that is quite weird, is that like PlayStation doesn't have much coming this year. In the second half of the year, I actually don't think there is anything. So like, what is this launching with? Like, what exactly is the sale? What's the incentive here for people other than the hardcore enthusiast? Like, I don't think there is one. In which case, I wouldn't be surprised if this gets delayed until 2025 to launch alongside GTA. Bearing in mind, GTA is not launching day one on PC. So that's easy free money for a lot of people who are going to get caught up in the hype. If they can do GTA bundles, they might actually get some decent mileage or value. But at the same time, holiday 2024 means maybe they can make a few sales at Christmas, but maybe they can anyway. So that's what I'm feeling. I agree with you. I think it feels a bit weird. I think they're just trying to cash in on the GTA hype.
yeah, no, yeah, you bring up a good point. Yeah, I think that's the main thing it's got going for it. If they can jump on the bandwagon, just be like, yeah, you can play this, at a much higher resolution, frame rate, all that sort of stuff, or hey, it actually doesn't even need to load on the PlayStation 5 Pro, all that kind of stuff. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's the sort of selling pitch, but yeah, I do think that's kind of the only way I can see this even semi succeeding to a hardcore audience. I still think it's a loss and it's dumb and it's not really necessary, but I could also say the same for this not doing a regen refresh, a mid-gen refresh for Xbox, and just bringing out a slimmer version of the console. I think that's also equally a completely fucking waste of time. Like I just don't do any of this shit. Either innovate and be like it's dockable, or you can do this and take it on the go or whatever, or just don't do anything, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. Brill. Well, that's all of our stories for today. If you're happy to, guys, I'm happy to wind down here. If we don't have any other closing thoughts on any of these topics.
I don't think so. No, I think I'm good.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's good, man.
Sweet. All right then. Let's bring this down to a close. Thanks, everyone. If you've been watching alongside us, or you are going to watch later, we'd appreciate a like. We'd appreciate you giving us a rating on Spotify, or maybe a subscribe if you're here on YouTube. That would be pretty cool. But other than that, we'll be back next week once Dragon's Dogma 2 is out. I'm not expecting anything else to happen in the next week.
No.
Maybe I get fired.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Well, when I do send your manager this podcast, you're probably
yeah, that's right.
And you will get to see my lovely face next week. So.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, that would really. You can look forward to that at the very least.
If you're gonna have a bad week, just think. Well, on Sunday, I get to see Caden.
Get to see God.
Yeah. Well, actually, I might just prove that I'm not God, but I could just stay omnipotent. I quite like that.
yeah, I'm into it.
Such a flex. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll catch you next week.
Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye.